Hey Virgo, how you doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your first half of reading here. Okay, let's talk about your meditation. Okay, listen, a book came through, which very rarely does in your meditation. It's called Illusions by Richard Bach. Illusions by Richard Bach. I heard the song Lego House, I think it's called, or Lego House by Ed Sheeran. And I saw you like in the woods, Virgo collective personified in the woods, building kind of a wooden house made of twigs. And then you reached up into a tree to get another twig and you had to balance on your house to do it. And then it all came tumbling down. And you were like, oh man, but you happened to be hanging on to this sturdy tree from which you were getting your twigs from. And you were like, wait a minute, I'm just going to build a house in this super sturdy tree I'm sitting in. And then I saw you doing that and just like you became the emperor. And people came from far and wide to your tree house. Like, how did you do this? And I feel like it's saying you're not just making the most out of your given lot. You're about to take... What is a good like? You're about to take, it's like you're transmuting something in such a huge way. It's like you're taking a lemon and making a lemon grove, right? It's not just sustain you, but your children and your children's children and all the, families nearby and the community. Like it's huge. It's like a big scale that I saw here. It's really, really cool. Like the emperor, magician, like those kind of vibes, with a little bit of Hierophant in there too, with the tree imagery. Okay, let's see what animal energy is here for you. Ooh, Virgo. Let's talk about this. Gazelle coming up here. Okay, so I feel like this is directly speaking to you balancing on your wooden house and having it come crumbling down before kind of rebuilding from those ashes. First of all, I want to talk about the fact that we're in Scorpio season right now. We're about to have Mercury in retrograde. There are a lot of intense energies coming up here that you can either let work with you or work against you if you're not cognizant. Okay? Because the gazelle, do you see these big ears here? It's a biological imperative, right? It has these ears so that it can hear danger coming from far off. But this is waiting for the other shoe to drop energy, right? Waiting for the other shoe to drop. So this can manifest in more than one way. On one hand, it can be like, wow, things are going so well right now that I'm afraid that something's going to go wrong, because something always does when things are going well, because it's that balance and it's a self-imposed belief that we place upon ourselves and we become conditioned to, right? Or this can come up where it's like, wow, everything's going wrong right now and I can't take one more thing. But there is this feeling of the falling down of it is the beginning of the building of this huge manifestation in your future. Interesting. Interesting how this is coming up here. See what's going on from the Virgos. But I have to tell you, it feels super the Emperor. I told you, it feels very Emperor magician. It feels, you know what it feels like? It feels like someone telling their story after they've built a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate business, and then they go back to speak at their alma mater college, and they're like, this is how I built myself up from nuts and bolts. And this, it's like it's an origin story. I'm clicking into an origin story. And then these big ears. I feel like what we're looking at is a point in time for you with everything that's coming up here. You are going to be helping other people in the future out of the benefit of your wisdom and experience. But it's another way of saying that the times that are about to happen for you are story worthy, and that you are currently right now living out your story that is going to be, storybook worthy, that you're going to relate to other people and help them through doing so. Listen, I'm getting this very distinct feeling. And listen, this is what it is, and I completely understand. During some of these retrogrades, especially this being in Scorpio season, there's some signs that are going to be like, oh God, this is a jam. Like I'm hearing All Falls Down by Kanye West. Like, yes, this is a jam, and I feel comfortable in this energy. But for some other signs, it's like, I might need to just eat some extra spiritual Wheaties to get through this time period. I do think that you could fall into the latter category if you're not super cognizant of what is and isn't yours. That feels very important to say to you, Virgo. What is and is not yours. Careful if you're an empath. Careful of any energies that you're picking up on that are not exactly yours. Because this retrograde energy is going to affect everybody, especially during the Scorpio season, especially because we are at the tail end of this 3-year, which means it's been a year of extremes, and now it's Scorpio season and it's Mercury in retrograde. Cool. The trifecta of terror. Okay, not really. That's really dramatic. And I'm trying to lighten the mood. Because it does feel like very serious, but I feel like the Joker as well, and I want to say, why is it so serious? Like, I feel like this has a lot to do with you. Like, this gazelle feels like a choice, okay? And I hope that you find great comfort in that, because that's everything. 3 of Cups for a 3-year. Hello. I love this. I love this for so many reasons. Listen, the 3 of Cups is celebration, reunion, much reason to rejoice, and really, really good times. Do you remember when I said that this gazelle is really up to you? Like, you can either step into that gazelle place where it's like, I can't handle one more thing right now, or things are going so well that I'm afraid that something's going to go wrong because it's, you know what I mean? That's the way of things. Remember when I said that? 3 of Cups, this is really good friends around you too. This is the kiki and the ho-ho and the all of that, you know, like up to no good, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Plus cake, and who doesn't love cake? Oh, weird. Do you remember what I said in your meditation about seeing you building a tree house and then these trees and twigs, and then it had to fall so that you could like build an even sturdier one with a foundation? I'm also seeing an image of that Doreen Virtue Romance Angels card that says, let your friends help you. I refuse to use them. It's like, I'm an Aquarius, so it's like, oh God, they're just so overused. I mean, they're great, but I just can't, like, because they're so done. But then the spirit is tricky, and they'll show me images and like from that card deck, because I won't use them, but I know them so well. It's really funny. But yeah, the 3 of Cups coming out of a 3-year. We only have a couple months left of this 3-year. It's cool. And it really is time to celebrate your accomplishments and really understand that everything, I feel like you're a bit shell-shocked from the year. This gazelle feels shell-shocked from the year that you've had. Okay? Trust that this year can end on a better note than it began, or than it was in the middle, or that it has been lately. I'm hearing the last few months in particular have been a little trying. And speaking of which, okay, which way did these go? This way, okay. So we have the 9 of Swords here, which is mental tension, up at night, not being able to sleep, just a lot of tension here with the time here. I'm very drawn to the time. I'm hearing I'm out of time, or time's almost up, or I thought I'd be somewhere different by now, or time, there's not enough time, or there's too much time. Something about anxiety over time, and also like what is real, what's an illusion. Remember when I said like be careful, like what is yours and what is not, and what is the shell shock? And I don't say this lightly, but like the shell shock energetic PTSD of this year, right? I mean, 3 times 3 is 9. Then we have the 7 of Wands here, which is really beautiful medicine. This is that I'm bigger than body gives me credit for key. This is that Jonathan Swift energy of I'm able to surmount any and all obstacles by sheer force of will, effort, and at the same time, allowance. Because this is really about, you don't have to like where you are. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. That is not going to cut off your blessings. That is not going to keep you stuck and keep you from manifesting. What will is resistance. What does resistance come from? Non-acceptance. If you accept where you are and where you're not, that is it. That tied with being in gratitude. But sometimes we can't always be in gratitude because sometimes things are hard. And sometimes the gratitude is more difficult to tap into than at other times. And instead of putting a Band-Aid on a tsunami of an emotion and a feeling and an issue, right, we have to go, okay, I'm going to feel the hell out of where I am right now. And I hate it, and I can't stand it, and I'm upset, and I'm not where I thought I'd be. I feel like this and this and this and this and this and this and this. But if you tie that back in, feel it all. If you tie that back in with, however, I accept it. I accept that this is where I am. I accept that this is where I'm not. I accept that I'm going into the last part of this year nowhere near where I thought I'd be at the beginning of it. Those New Year's resolutions seem about 1,000,000 miles away, and it's okay, right? I split the deck and got the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords here as well. And it's funny because when I saw in your meditation that King of the Hill where you were like up in this treehouse and people from far and wide were coming to you to see, how did you do that? How did you build that kingdom? It is so much closer than you know, Virgos. And this gazelle energy really is a choice. Okay? It's a choice. But it does feel very overwhelmed. And you know what I say about it's like overwhelmed is not a real thing. It just feels like, or I should say it's not a real emotion, but it's like a masking term. But it does feel very overstimulated, and it feels overworked, to be quite honest with you. Let's get a clarifier for the Three of Cups here. Let's get a clarifier for the Three of Cups. The Tower for Scorpio season. You know, I was talking about this Scorpio energy here, of course. This is the great rearranger, right? That's what I call this. This is the universe coming in and removing anything and everything from your path that is not of your highest and best good, right? Right? This is what happens when we don't accept where we are. I know about this. This in particular I happen to know a lot about. This is a response to our resistance. We'll get a lot of hints about moves we need to make, things we need to let go of, things we need more of, and we'll just continuously just focus on our sheer will and what we want as a human, and then the Tower inevitably ensues, right? Remember when I said I saw the card, let your friends help you? That's what I'm getting here from this Tower, right? Your friends are the tonic, the people you keep close to and around you. But I also, speaking of, this is a 3 card. I feel like this is also just saying, yes, it has been a year. Okay, and I do feel like you're a little shell-shocked from it, and it's okay. And they're drawing my attention to more trees here, right? And how they're barren, right? But you know what these barren trees, easier to make a tree house with, right? Ooh, and I saw you building the tree house out of like wooden, like sticks. Yeah, you know, you have an opportunity here to take what has died, or take the rubble, or take the excrement and the disappointment and the accomplishments of this year, and use them to build what, you know, your future and your platform for what's coming up here. One thing I do feel strongly is that your next year coming up here is going to be very different from this one. Okay, so just try to breathe into this time, okay? Let's get a clarifier for 9 of Swords. Did I not say at the beginning of this that it felt like you were an Emperor and Magician energy? I split the deck, I got the Emperor, and now I got the Emperor again. Now, here's what I'm obsessed with. Remember how I just said that next year's going to be really different? Let's talk about this. So this year was a 3-year, right? Which means it was a year of extremities. When it was good, it was great. When it was not, it was really not, right? This next year that we're going into is a 4-year. Right? Which means it's going to provide more stability. It's going to provide, you know, just a breather after this 3-year. It's going to be the yin to the yang that was all this extremity. It's just going to balance itself out in a lot of ways, right? Like a slight breath, okay? And we have the number 4 card here. So I feel like this is what you're going towards. And it's really, you can transmute this. And I say this with love, Virgos, but I really feel like what we're seeing here with this 9 of Swords and this gazelle, this is a choice that you can easily transmute yourself out of by acceptance and focusing on what is working. Gratitude and acceptance. That's it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. But as long as you accept it, sometimes the gratitude is easier to get to coming from a place of acceptance, okay? And the fact that this is coming in for you to clarify the 9 of Swords, I just want to say this, you're boss and you know it. Because I saw, remember, Illusions by Richard Bach. Please, if you're drawn to it, I would highly recommend reading it. It's a very short book, very short, but very profound. And I feel like it's just for you. Yeah, this Emperor energy here, this is being a major boss. Remember what I said about everyone coming from far and wide to see and hear how you built your kingdom and your castle. Okay, okay, tell me something. If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that on January 1st, you magically manifest or have everything you possibly want. On January 1st, like a button was pressed and you magically had exactly what you wanted, how would you spend the rest of this year? Pretty sure you wouldn't spend it like this. Something to that. Can you enjoy the rest of this year believing that you will? Because I haven't, you guys are in the last half of these readings here. I have not said that in any other reading today, but it's coming up in yours. Okay? Okay, one more thing's coming in. Sometimes before we get exactly what we want, we become extra afraid that we never will. I don't know why that is, but it's true. That's why it's like, cut to stock footage of, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I never thought this would happen. It's that whole the darkest before the dawn situation that I'm picking up on here. Ooh, I have shivers. Okay, clarifier for the Seven of Wands, please. This is she comes out so rarely. So beautiful. Page of Pentacles, repping your earth sign self here. We have got nary another pentacle here, but she did come up at the very end for you for Page of Pentacles. I have to say, the pentacles are associated with the autumn time, the time that we are in now. But the fact that this is the wands here, and I'm very drawn to like the spring energy that I'm getting from this. I'm feeling spring is going to be really eventful. And back to this tree here. There's something to this tree situation. Yeah, there is. I feel like spring is going to be particularly abundant. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, I just heard stay green, pony boy. Stay green from the Outsiders. Green is also the color of the heart chakra. So I do feel like this abundance coming in too is going to be tied to something that brings your heart joy or fulfillment. And I love it for you. And it's going to be the beginning of something new, right? Remember, Seven of Wands, bigger than body gives me credit for. Understanding that you have everything you need inside of you because you are divinity. You are divinity. So you have everything you need inside of you to surmount whatever, fear monsters, try to rage, or that feeling of I'm afraid that the other shoe's going to drop and I'm going to lose what I have, or I can't handle one more thing, whatever that is for you around this tower moment. Let your friends help you. I'm telling you, things are going to turn around in a really beautiful way. Again, they're telling me again, if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that on January 1st, you would magically have everything you want, how would you spend the rest of this year? They keep telling me that. Something to that. I think embodying that feeling is going to be what manifests something or something so beautifully for you. Oh, weird. I just heard Imbolc. Imbolc is February 2nd. Some people say 1st, some people say 2nd. It's different wherever you look. But Imbolc is the first true budding of spring. It's when that turnaround really starts to happen. I feel like, that's going to be a very special time for you. Okay, let's get an oracle. You guys got this. I'm actually not worried about you at all. I feel like you're going to be leagues ahead of the rest of the game here real quick. And we're going to be like, wait, Virgo, how did you do it? How did you get there? Just like at the beginning of your meditation, right? So we got vast independent, which I'm completely obsessed with for you. Your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Now, I'm going to point something out. Remember how I was saying, like, let your friends help you? This isn't about, independent. It's independent like the cat, right? Independent like the cat. Cats are very self-reliant, unlike dogs. I love both, obviously. I have both, but cats are very self-reliant. They don't need a lot of coddling, the majority of them. They just kind of they even go in a litter box, the majority of them. They don't need to be taken out to whatever that is, right? I feel like this is more saying that it's about, cats, 9 lives, number Virgo. Not all of you are born in number, but, the majority. They're really saying that with this is about letting your friends and your loved ones around you raise you up to this place of strength. Because guess what? The Emperor is a very strong individual in his own right, but he does have a counterpart in the Empress, right? And I feel like that this is really saying that it's going back to this 7 of Wands here, where you do have everything that you need inside of you. You are divinity personified, right? And you can do that. I feel like this is directly remarking to the meditation that I saw for you, where you had built your own empire out of twigs and leaves and bark, and sitting up there on top of this treehouse throne, honey, with everybody far and wide. And then you relaying this story back time away from now. And it's really, really beautiful. And this is a beautiful energy for you to sit into of independence. And she ain't worried about a thing, is she? Right? Yeah, let your friends help you and raise you up to this position, right? It's a beautiful thing so that you can turn around and do the same for others, right? Cycles. All right, beautiful Virgos, this is your first half of the original reading. I so hope that this was of help and resonated with you. If so, please let me know in the comments below. I would just love that. And just thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, just thank you for being you, and be well.